Here we are. We
There
are
we
live.
we
It's
are live
official.
now.
We are
Good morning,
live.
sis. Welcome to Me Moments in the Morning.
Mhm.
How's everybody today?
Great.
We are awake.
Yes, we are awake. We are
We
here.
have breath. So it's a good start.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
And we hydrating.
Yes, we're. Oh, yes. I'll drink to that. Water and
Yes.
calabash.
Mhm.
We got a good water.
Oh, man.
Mm.
It just tastes better in a calabash.
Like new discovery. The
What?
secret to a refreshing drink.
Them old people knew something, you know?
And
They
the
would
calabash.
definitely onto something there. It feels
Mhm.
good. It just feels good. It touches your lips. It doesn't alter the taste of the water and the vibe. You could just taste the vibe in it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
way to start.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna send all of you calabash. So Tracy, maybe I'll just send you um the ones, and then you could
And then I can
distribute
give to
to
everybody. Yeah, that'd be
to
nice.
yeah.
That'd be nice. Everybody will like those. All right. So, Grand
We do
Rise.
it too.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, Alexander is here. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I
At
said I was gonna
8:08.
keep my
That's a good
glasses nearby.
that's a good time. 8:08.
Mm-hmm.
My birds.
So, Tap In Tuesday is what I wanted to call this day because I figured we can talk about different things that we really want to tap into. And tapping into communing with the ancestors. Uh, I think we started down this road, but we didn't quite get to where I wanted us to go with it. And so I wanted to open up the conversation and talk about how do we um, tap into our ancestors.
How do we do it?
You're gonna start the morning with a difficult question. I thought the
Mm.
show was gonna
It's
be
like,
easy.
well, there's no lightness here. We're just gonna go deep from the beginning.
Yes, it's tap in, just tap in.
No, it's more like dive in. Okay. You know, ancestral topics are wow, that's a hard one to tap into.
Mm.
So I hope this is the start of many
I hope
conversations.
so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Well, I have run across people who are actually afraid of their ancestors. I've had people tell me, "Oh, I don't want to talk about my ancestors. I don't like my ancestors." And I wonder who they're talking about because they're really talking about themselves, right?
Mm.
But it was interesting, and one I ventured to push with this one particular woman, and I asked her why, because before I didn't have the courage to ask why, and so I asked her why don't you want to know about your ancestors? And she said, well, they did bad things, and I believe that bygones should be bygones and let all of those negative things stay in the past.
Mm.
um and so I kind of yeah, I wanted to blow some breath into that and see what that's about.
Yeah.
um how we can come to a place like that, and I was unaware that there were people who actually
Sure.
felt that way,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always kind of spoken to my ancestors, even when I didn't know what that really meant, right? And then I remember people saying things like, "Oh, you shouldn't talk to the dead," and all of these different things. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're talking to me, so as if I'm the witch and I'm the bad
Mm.
person
Mhm.
because I'm communing with the dead. Mm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not dead. They're ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
The body's dead. That statement comes from a very poor understanding of life. Actually, an imposed understanding of life, because our original understanding was very much in harmony with that.
Yes.
Maybe we couldn't explain it, but we certainly understood it. You can tell by all the rituals and ceremonies that are ancestral, that
Yeah.
that we knew we were going somewhere. I mean, look at the pyramids, for heaven's sakes, right? They knew that they were going somewhere else. It
Right.
wasn't, it's all here and this is it. I mean, clearly they demonstrated that there was somewhere else we were supposed to go.
Mm-hmm,
You know?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alice said, "They are you, and you are them."
Hmm.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it all come back to self, which is always interesting. Where you're like, "Oh, it's that," but then you're like, "It
Yeah.
is you." I think there's a fear in there. I think there's a fear of the unknown, and culturally, depending on where you at, I think we're very afraid of. We see it solely as death, almost like a finite situation. So we don't even want to
Mm.
explore or think about it because then you have to think about your own mortality and you own, what's going to happen. And I think we're always in that state of wanting to know what's going to happen, and you cannot. And I think we also don't listen enough. We barely listen to our own whispers, let alone to be able to hear or feel anything in our space. So there's a disconnect between us as humans. Then there's a disconnect with our own space and nature, and we think we know everything. And so even if some things are happening that are we don't have answers for, we just ignore it. And so we think because we're ignoring it, it's not happening. And so, but I do agree with the idea of I think of more of my good ancestors because they are somewhere I'm like, don't tap into me, don't stay out. So it's really the
Mm.
good ones. Sometimes I do want to honor, but they all have their purpose. They all have messages for us. But again, I think we have a way of just completely ignoring, whether it's lack of ignorance or simply out of fear, where we just like, let's just leave it where it's at. But it's never going away because it's always present. So it's not
What?
like you can control that.
And let's not forget about the um, the operant conditioning effect,
Mm,
in that every single major religion played a role in demonizing um, these gifts, these abilities, and our connection to the ancestors. They've had, almost 1,000 years of work that they've done on us,
mhm,
to the point where we came to believe it ourselves. Oh, there are no ancestors, or it must be negative. If it isn't this way, everything else is wrong.
mhm,
So yeah, they had a good running start with us, and but now, as we're talking about awareness, right? And now that we have some awareness around who we are, that we're not just this physical being, here to do everything, rape the earth and do all these things because there's nothing else after. It's very it's much more accepted now that there are different realms of existence for
mm.
human life, right? For all
Mm-hmm.
life. So there's no excuse, is my point.
There's none.
There's definitely no excuse. You can definitely choose which philosophy works for you, which belief system works for you,
Exactly.
and pick something that makes sense with who and where you are, because it
Exactly.
has to make sense with where you are. I practiced something when I was a toddler, and then when I was a teenager, and then when I was in my 20s, but as my life grows, the needs become maybe more specific, or maybe they pan out. But the point is that they shift and change. So
Hmm.
I have to tend to that. That's the garden of my life. I have to tend to that and make sure that whatever belief systems I'm holding on to, whatever support systems I'm holding on to, that they work for me and for where I'm at. It may sound really selfish, but these are the me moments, right? In the morning.
Hmm. Yeah.
Where
You
else
know,
am I going to say it?
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I'm like, I want it to sound selfish. I want people to, look at me and say, "What is she talking about?" Because perhaps this is the turning point for somebody. You know,
Mm.
yeah, I definitely want to keep having the conversation, and I know we're not gonna tap into the whole ancestral realm right now, but yeah, I would definitely love to keep the conversation going.
Keep it going. Good
Mhm,
morning, Janice.
mhm.
We have
Hi, mom.
Janice. You're like, hey. All right, let me see. Yeah, so the comments is, yeah, share the comments. I mean, I would love to hear what others are thinking, if it's
Mhm.
something
Me
that they've been
too.
discouraged to do, or if they truly have tapped into it. Because again, I think as there's there's a gap in terms of when we're younger, like kids see a lot of things, feels a lot of things, and in the in between, I don't know what happened in between. And then as we evolve, some of us, if we are willing to be in that space,
Yeah.
whether we're afraid or not, just to allow that to happen, that we might discover some things about us, but also about what are those whispers about, because it's not going to go away. So a lot of time people think like ignoring something, not paying attention,
Mhm.
be busy so they don't have to hear it. So you put a lot of noise around you so you can block it. And I'm like, again, you don't control it. So it's going to be here. But,
Yeah.
we have the movies who are not helping us because the way they portray
Yeah.
this idea of ancestors and ghosts, and it's always fearful. Like it's always almost like horror and mystery. And it's always something people are running away from versus something that's like a natural part of life.
Yeah.
Even if there are certain things you cannot even explain, whether you claim to be spiritual or not spiritual, like you just cannot put a thing on it to be like, that's what this is. But when it happens, like you definitely will know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Belinda is here. Hi, Belinda.
Hey, Belinda. Hold on, give me a second here.
Every morning. So I'm sure when you're in your garden, mountain spirit, like you also feel that, like you truly in commune with your ancestors.
Yeah. And also, it's that constantly knowing that what you're walking on are the remains of your ancestors. That
Hmm.
right, that our soil on this earth is made up of the remains of everything that has ever lived. That's what comprises the earth, the whole roundness of it. Our food grows from it. Um, and that's what maintains us.
Mm,
It supports us and it maintains us, and it's our home. And so the very basis of our home is made up of from the remains of our ancestors, not just the human ones, but the
Hmm.
animal ones, the
Plant.
elements, the
Yeah.
crystals, everybody, the salt from the sea, all of that. So when we're barefoot, that's what this whole thing is grounding. That's not a new discovery, by the way. For those who are
oh
tapping
no,
themselves on
yeah.
the shoulder, it's like you didn't invent that. It's not yours.
You just like,
You
in
you
this
can't
century, of
you
course,
can't
right?
patent that.
In this era, it was discovered.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We was barefoot. You're the one who put shoes on us and cut us off. So shut up. Go away. So that anyway, that's communing with the ancestors in the simplest form, right? Just standing upright on solid ground with the souls, the real souls, the
Yeah.
soles of your feet touching the ancestrals remains. Well, we don't like to refer it as what we call organic material. It's really
Mm,
the remains of the ancestors.
Yeah.
And so it's that cycle. I love the upcycle that we're in, you know. So that's the start.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a
Yeah.
disconnect.
Oh yeah, we've got that's the problem. That is the problem. And well, I don't know what they all are, but from where I'm standing, I see the refusal to accept the fact that we are going to also be ancestors.
Mm,
Right.
This refusal to age, this refusal to embrace the wisdom of your years, even the whole lying about your age thing, the whole, covering up anything that remotely resembles aging, the way we're looking at aging, all of those, I think, are just marks of denial. That's
yeah.
that's the beginning of the disconnect, if not the disconnect in and of itself. But
Yeah.
this refusal to see that we are part of that cycle. We pulled ourselves out of the cycle.
Hmm. Yeah. Very true. Very true. All right. Anyone in the chat have
And
anything?
the comments and the comments. So how do we shift that around in terms of without fear? Because one of the things I'm seeing is I'm sure none of us are gonna be like paying to like show me how to ground. Just
Not anymore.
the things we see happening. It's and again, depending on where you are in, and then part of it too culturally, there's some rituals that happen. Like I always seen, even how we honor our ancestors, or how we continue to talk about them, because sometimes it's like, okay, it's gone, where people don't even feel comfortable sharing that.
Mm.
Or what do you do? Almost like there's some cultures every year, the Day of the Dead is not, you know it's not Halloween. It's not like that thing you do. It's truly like you truly thinking about our ancestors and including them in that ritual. There are certain things we do, whether it's like I remember seeing people pouring coffee in the ground. Like every ritual has meaning, and so I
Mhm.
think how do we start including that as part of our own culture? Whether it's us creating it without sort of waiting again for whoever to sort of do that, but can we at least be curious enough, be open enough to start our own practice, and learning how to do that within a community?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that possible, Mountain Spirit? Tracy, is it possible?
Well, I don't know if it's possible. We could try. We could give it a try, right? We're goddesses after all.
Hmm.
Um, how about I nominate
Ah!
a ritual to just stand barefoot on the earth
Mm,
at some point. Just find, go to the park, whatever you got to do. Buy a bag of soil, put it on your floor, stand on it, but to stand just naked upon the earth like that. And
Yeah.
I mean your feet naked. You don't have to be
mm.
Yeah.
naked.
Right. Right.
You like just a
You
feet?
don't have to get naked, but your feet.
Yeah, we're not starting a nudist group.
Do not, do not. But I mean, I think it also remind me that inner child, you have to let that out because I can see like, when you're just in the park and the natural thing, like if you're on the beach, you can see automatically like take off the shoes and just run, put your feet in the
Right.
water. And these are the things where people sometimes are so restricted
Yeah.
where that doesn't even happen naturally because they're like, oh, I don't want this to happen. And but imagine just that feeling and even the so many issues I see people having physically, whether it's like inflammation or pain, and part of it is that in terms of not having things in nature that can truly soothe you, like your feet in water, your feet in the ocean, your
Hmm.
feet in the sand, your feet on the ground, or just different ways of having the elements around you, whether it's like hot, cold, warmth, or the wind, and all these other elements contribute to how your body's feeling. And the moon, like y'all talk about
Hmm.
um, a while back. So all of that is affecting you physically, but
Yeah.
again, we're resisting the thing that comes the most natural and organic in our space, but we're looking for other ways. But I'm like, it's already here. What do you need?
Yeah. Everything is already here. All
And you
right.
you know the plants, right? They're even for people with black thumbs. I know they're brown thumbs, but they're people with black thumbs. For people like that, um, there is one plant somewhere around you that will grow around you. There's some plants that are just really hardy and hard to kill. But
Hmm.
to just have one teeny tiny, I had a friend who got the teeniest, tiniest little cactus. I think she paid $1 for it. But she's kept it for years, and that satisfies that communing with nature, connecting with another
Mm,
life form that isn't you or yours.
yeah.
It's a representation of a deeper relationship with Mother Earth.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that simple, and it's
Yeah.
that's doable. That's
Very.
doable.
Yes.
Hmm.
Very doable. So we are wrapping up. We are wrapping up. Time just flew by.
Oh my Lord, already?
Already, right?
Oh man.
Flew by. But to be continued. Okay. This is the
Yes.
first of many on this conversation.
Hmm. All
Yeah,
right.
we didn't solve all the problems of the world.
No.
We
We
put a
took
good dent in there
yeah,
though.
we took one big step. That's good. That's
Oh
good.
my goodness.
All right. And with that, I am going to share from the Slay Bible. And if you have yours on hand, I'm on page
Bring
20.
it out.
I am on page 28.
I have
For
one.
centuries, we were made to believe we were less than, or that we are the lesser species next to man. No, no, boo boo, no. There is a much, there is much evidence to support its opposition. Besides, I have heard the call of our ancestors. We, hmm, hold on, let me make this bigger so I can see. Mount Spirit, I need your glasses.
I wish I could just hand them to you.
Ah,
Hand it over.
um,
These
besides,
tiny prints.
all
Tiny,
right.
tiny prints.
I have heard the call of our ancestors who have said otherwise as they are calling for an awakening. and a rising of the truth tellers. As you walk this labyrinth with me, you will see, if they have not already, they will begin speaking to you as well. You will begin to understand the truth and the power of self love, who you are and who you were meant to be. You will come to know that we are charged with unveiling, owning, and living at higher vibrational levels. We are charged with understanding and cultivating our own inherent gifts for use in the betterment and expansion of this world. Most importantly, we are charged with spreading the truth to every goddess that crosses our path. The more of us that find and resonate with that truth, the better off the world is. The more enlightened we are, the greater the legacy, the greater the triumph, and the greater the healing and victory for us and our ancestors. And that is it this morning.
Here's our message.
Mm.
And have to
So,
reflect,
yes, page
marinate
20,
on.
much food for thought. Have a good day. All right. Final
Ooh,
thoughts?
you want to read what Joy says? Our
Yeah, here.
soul is vibration.
Yes.
Ooh, I
Our
love it.
guys.
I'll take that. I'll take
Yes.
two of them.
Yes. They are around us just on another level.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm, mm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
I love it. Well, that's the perfect place to end right there.
Yeah.
Yes. We started deeply in this conversation. We are ending on a deep note. Soulful ending. Wow.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, love
Well,
that.
thank you all for joining us this morning. And we look forward to seeing you back here bright and early tomorrow. But don't forget, we are now going over to Clubhouse. So if you like to continue the conversation and to share your gratitude, intention, and affirmation of the day, please meet us on over there.
Yes.
And we'll see you then.
See you in a few and keep tapping. Tapping in Tuesday.